Look in verse 16 through 18. So it was from that time on that half my servants worked at construction, while the other half held their spears, the swords, the bows, and wore armor, and the leaders were behind all the house of Judah. Those who built the wall and those who carried burdens loaded themselves so that in one hand they worked at construction, and with the other hand they held a weapon. Every one of the builders had his sword girded at his side as he built, and the one who sounded the trumpet was beside me. Every one of them were ready to not only build, but to defend that which is built. I love how they were working together, how they had one another's back, how one person would be standing guard with his sword and his spear while the other one was working, how they cared about the work of the other person. I pray that we're a church who does those sorts of things, that we don't just stick people out on an island and say, well, go to work. But that we have each other's back, that we encourage one another, that when the attacks come, that we stand up for them, that we work with them and fight with and for them. But every one of them, I want you to notice, every one of them, look at verse 18, every one of the builders had his sword girded at his side as he built. Every one of them. I wrote in my notes, you cannot separate the work of God from the Word of God. You see, this is the sword of the Spirit, the Word of God. If we get so busy working that we neglect the Word, our work will never be fruitful. If we get so focused on sharpening our sword that we never actually act, then we're not being obedient either. Charles Spurgeon wrote a book called The Trowel and the Sword, based off of this, that is the way that Christians are supposed to live their lives. A trowel in one hand to build, and a sword, the sword of the Spirit, in the other, to defend and to take the gospel to the nations. Both doing both. Not one or the other. They can't be done independently of themselves. They must be done together. Every one of them had a sword. My question to you, friends, as a church, my question to you is simply this. Is the sword at your side, or are you depending on someone else's sword to work for you?